Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to the channel, Jamaica News Review. So, people, today we're gonna talk about a very sad situation that we have in Jamaica, where it is being reported that the suicide rate is skyrocketing, and it went up by a whopping 26% in 2022. And people, that's very worrying situation. So, on the Gleaner, it says that more Jamaicans are committing suicide, with the latest data showing a 26% increase in the number of persons who took their lives in 2022 compared with the previous year. It also goes on to say what the country's rate of just over 2% of just over 2 per 100,000 of the population remains well below the global average of 9.2 per 100,000. So people are saying that it's still well below the global average, but it is becoming very alarming because Jamaica has never really experienced this level of suicides before. So it is very troubling. So the article goes on to say the latest Jamaican figures were published in the Economic and Social Survey Jamaica released recently by the Planning Institute of Jamaica. And it says the report said 64 suicides were recorded in 2022, moving up from 51 in 2021. And people, males accounted for 90.6% of the victims. It also goes on to say hanging continued to be the most common method used, accounting for 75%. And it goes on to say 4 victims in 2022 were below 18 years of age and 7 were over 65 years. So people, this is a very worrying situation. Um, people are taking their lives more than ever in Jamaica. And this is a phenomenon that we're not really used to. Jamaicans are tough people. They are very resilient people. So we have to really wonder what is going on, because that this is not something that is usually the case in Jamaica. In the Asian countries, Japan and other and you know Asian countries are historically the most affected by this phenomenon. Um, Africa and the Caribbean in general don't really experience a lot of suicides. So we have to really wonder why, this we having this level of suicides and this dramatic increase in the level of suicides. But the paper goes on to say that research findings indicate that family disruptions, relationship problems, social isolation, trauma, grief, loss, and economic problems are among the risk factors for suicide. But those things are not really new to Jamaica, and Jamaica has always been a tough place. So those are not situations that are just coming on stream now. Jamaica has always been a tough place. It's always had economic problems. People have always had relationship problems. People have always had trauma, grief, and so forth. So I don't know, are we getting softer? Or is it just that, it's a different time and people can't stand the pressure of life like that anymore? So in any case, it's very worrying. But the world has gone through a lot in the past 2 years, 3 years with the pandemic, and then we have this steep rise in the cost of living, causing a lot of stress on people, a tremendous stress on people. And then we have a lot of spin-off from that because the pandemic brought along a lot of relationship problems. It brought along a lot of economic problems, social problems, etc. So a lot of these are spin-offs from the pandemic, and we suffer. People suffered a lot under the pandemic, the lockdowns, the lack of income and so forth, and your bills kept coming. So people just give up. So, I think it's the tremendous stress that people have been under for the past few years with the pandemic, and then those things spinning off from the pandemic, emanating from the pandemic that I just mentioned. It's just taking a toll on people. All right, now the cost of living is way, way out of hand. So people are feeling it, and some people just can't take the pressure no more. But at the end of the day, that is not the answer. Because sometimes you think you have it bad, and when you check, there's always somebody that have it worse than you. So anyone thinking of that, my advice to them is just hold firm, stand firm, and just hold it as best as you can. Because no matter how bad you think it is for you, it's somebody out there have it worse than you. I don't. I know my words might not be soothing enough for some people, but just look within yourself and say, um, it's bad, but there's people out there that have it worse than me, and they're still going. So my advice is just hold the faith and stay strong. So those are my views on the situation, people. Very, very worrying situation. People in Jamaica are under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, and hopefully the economic situation improve, and hopefully the cost of living stabilize, and people can have more disposable income. Because a lot of people eat just have hand to mouth, and that is just taking a toll on them. So we hope for better, and we hope for better days for Jamaica. So thank you for tuning in, people. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you so much.